Hello everybody and welcome back to BSG Online 7. You may find all the links to donate below the stream in order to donate to Mind, which is the charity we are benefiting for this event. So here we are with Unmetal any % easy. Just before we get started, we do have a few donations here, a few lovely donations that we've received. First off, we have 50 euros from Zero Karen saying, "Go, Nick, go!" And indeed, thank you very much for that first donation. And secondly, we've got 5 euros from Metal Glen Solid. They're saying, "Oh, I'm supposed to comment? I'll tell you later." So, thank you so much for those initial donations. That means we're currently sitting at 775 euros total so far. So, just as I was saying in the previous run, we're getting closer and closer to 1,000. So, let's get to it. But that's enough from me. So, how about you guys introduce yourselves?
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is NickRPGreen. I am a member of Metal Gear Speedrunners, and we lovingly adopted Unmetal, even though it's not technically a Metal Gear, into our domain. I have with me Jack Lafere. Do you like to explain to the folks who you are?
Hello, friends. I'm Jack Lafere, game creative assistant to Fran, who created this game. While he is the developer, I definitely assisted with its creation.
The devs were absolutely fantastic in helping us out, and we worked closely with them to get the speedrunning portion of this all set up. But anyway, let's get on, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. Apache Smash was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to make it. So in his honor,
yo, it's Apache Smash. Thanks for entering my code. Let's play Unmetal.
He at least gets his opening line. Apache was very instrumental in getting this game put in front of MGSR, and therefore he has voice lines in the game himself. Okay, so this is any % easy on PC, and I do understand that the bad choices incentive got met, so every time I get given a choice in the game, I have to take the worst option. And the timer is going to start when I select the difficulty in 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, welcome to Unmetal. The first thing that he's going to do is get out of a cell. A lot of this is small little, almost pixel optimizations of trying to punch at the farthest distance and getting things as fast as possible. You'll see him kind of teleport here and there. That is because we implemented a almost instantaneous dialogue skip. And here's the first bad choice. 2 guards instead of 1. So now he's got 2 of them chasing after him, showcasing a mechanic where you get to narrate your escape and decide what's happening throughout it for all the good and bad experiences. So as you see, he's rolling in rooms right now and going to be doing as much as he can to do everything as optimally as possible, as you would expect in a speedrun. Talking to characters in the story and only punching the necessary guards. Now, if you'll notice, you'll see some of them, if he knocks them out before they are alerted, a star goes up to the top right, contributing an experience. And experience routing is a very important thing in this game because as you gain levels, you get new abilities. As I understand, Nick typically doesn't get this secret, but I'm guessing he's getting it from marathon safety.
Indeed, I am.
And that will be necessary for a skip in chapter 9 out of 10. So he's got to set up a skip starting at the very beginning. Anyway, rolling is, as I understand, I don't know it exactly, but I believe it's like 20 to 30% faster than normal running in its motion.
That sounds about right.
And in doing so, he is also, you'll see him skipping some items on the ground to make sure that they are no longer in his inventory to improve menuing opportunities. Bad choice number 2, he has to wear an eye patch for the next part until it's used to combine with another item. Fran, the creator, loves small little jokes, so the idea of an eye patch removing half of the vision of the screen, just a great little hidden Easter egg. He now has the ability to create a slingshot, which I do believe combining it here might actually screw up some menuing later.
Yeah,
you've got
it
through
is
Mental.
helpful.
Yeah, so he's able to get some extra experience on there. All of the guards moving around have a zone that their AI makes them move around. So their positioning on the screens create a sort of RNG he has to adapt to. This becomes more important in different categories, like the perfect category versus any percent. But yeah, totally fine. And a goal of Chapter 1, he managed to get enough experience to get his second level before the end of it. So
That's actually a really, really early level. You usually get to level 2 off the first boss, which is Grenade Guy.
Grenade Guy moves left or right between 3 and 18 steps on easy, moving at a half speed. He takes, I believe, 6 shots to take out. And at the very early parts of this game, a lot of people had very choice and fun things to say about Grenade Guy.
Oh, damn it!
Oh,
all right, that was unfortunate.
that's okay. That's part of the not world record route. Anyway, yeah, I'm surprised. Anyway, the jokes about Grenade Guy in the beginning actually prompted the developers to add a Grenade Guy joke in every patch note, giving updates on them. So that is a direct contribution from speedrunners. Now, he's just combining a little bit of a rope so that he can go down into the sewers, because what old school retro game would be good without sewers? And let's give a moment to the host.
Absolutely. Just would like to do a little reminder that this event is in benefit of Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who is dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. And as such, I am so pleased to see that we're almost 800 euros raised for them so far. They're an absolutely great cause to donate for. And so let's keep it going. Let's see if maybe we can reach 800 within this run. Let's see.
All right. This is Sergeant Roscoe, which you get to see in the very beginning. He is completely deterministic so long as you time your punches for easy down to the half second for every hit. So he will stop at the left papers next, and there you go. Now, there are some things that you'll see that I'll comment on probably in the next level, such as the speedrun timer, but one of the things we want to talk about is movement tech. At level 1, you get the most important... the moment you see someone dancing on screen. You get the most important upgrade, which is sprint. That means that you move you move faster on every screen that an enemy is not present, which means that your movement is faster when no one is on screen. But when someone or an enemy is on screen, even Shredder, which is considered an enemy, rolling is faster. Here's a little situation dealing with getting some project files that are requirements for the game story. And you get a little glimpse at a cutscene of him talking and being interrogated. The next trick is called Doggo Skip. You normally have to go like an extra 7 to 10 screens. I'm going off bad memory here. To get an item to distract the dog. He just decides to tank some damage, and we're showing off the bleeding mechanic. When you take any damage, you start bleeding, and normally you have to use a bandage or a med kit to stop the bleeding. But in this case, he's utilizing med kit to go past. You will see a lot of opportunities when he takes damage, and he will be pausing and loading the game from a recent checkpoint. This is a technique that they use to restore hit points and to minimize the use of bandages and medkits. Now, going through and doing some menuing efficiently so that he can give a walkie-talkie to another character that he'll barely be talking to. And let's see if he can get that. He got the third roll, so you could see that it moved ahead. This is as optimal. And now we've got the rush. He's got to get down and get to a specific checkpoint to take advantage of that load hit point refresh. And it's going to get a little tense here.
Hold on, mister.
And he made it.
No spot.
This is the second stamina he's doing to prep for that skip in Chapter 9. And now that...
I usually get hit by those ones. It's not so much of a problem.
An interesting note is by using the load, you've got great RNG. You were able to skip that nice and fast. And let's see how close you're willing to take for Marathon. Anyway, back on this. He got a bad pattern there. He wasn't fast enough. Normally, you can break that before any of the creatures get to you. And there are times that Nick may be skimming down to the pixels to get past some of these shredders in a single cycle. I never asked about cheese or nuts. Whoops.
Yeah, I forgot about it as well.
That's okay. Just some rodents. Talking about this, it's probably going to be good for everybody in chat to say cheese or nut if they would like that. And then beyond this is going to be the next part of the mission, which is going to showcase this and the flamethrower. The flamethrower is going to be interesting in easy difficulty relevant to this run. The heat of the flamethrower actually dissipates at 50%, so you can use it quite a bit more, utilizing the load save here. And this flamethrower that he's about to build kills you if it reaches the full amount of heat. So he's going to have to tap repeatedly in order to maximize the heat allowed. And instead of using it to take care of all the rodents, that's just slow. So he's just going to take it and rush through as fast as he can to get through each of the rooms. It's rather a quick thing. Quick experience. And then leading into the next boss. So if you see the red bar above his head, that's the heat that he's got to manage. It's going down much faster than it should. And he's going to take just enough so that they're not nibbling on him and move ahead. Small note. These are one of the few things in the game that do not apply the bleeding debuff. So he's going to take a few nibbles to allow for that to be the case, and that is a small little way that he can optimize his work and not have to stress so much about clearing them. Just clear them enough so he doesn't die. Now, this room, because they are so far back, he's so ahead of all of the triggers to create the spawns in here, and they did find the automatic protection by going in here to clear all of the rodents, getting the third stamina for that Chapter 9 skip. Just like the guards in previous encounters, the starting... Well, no, these are on a deterministic rotation. It's just a matter of how fast they can do to get optimal rotations.
All right, we've got our second bad choice coming up.
Bad choice. Oh, normally you would pick 6, so that you would have 6 tentacles. Well, unfortunately for his bad choice, he's picking 2 for 24 tentacles. This increases the challenge of the fight significantly, and also increases the time that it takes for the balls to finish shooting by about twice as long. So it's actually a slight time loss to do it this way. Normally there's just 6 balls, and as you can see, that involves 2 rolls per attack, not 1. Now, there's a tech here called Flamethrower Skip. At a specific percentage, the next time he comes up, dialogue choice comes up, which is the only dialogue choice that Nick's allowed not to take the bad choice, as we note, because it causes a game over.
Bad position.
And now he has to use the platform he's been using throughout the level to go up and punch him in the face. Alternatively, he could actually use slingshot bullets to reduce that opportunity.
Please die, please. No!
And there we go. A situation where your donations played a major factor in changing this run.
It is unbelievable how much more difficult this boss is with 24 tentacles instead of 6.
if you were watching 6, he can, on average, do that in 2 or 3 less cycles.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 4.
There are a couple of choices like you just saw there where I got a dialogue option, which doesn't affect the game. It just affects the dialogue. So those ones
Okay.
would not put down to the bad choice. We do have probably the best bad choice here in Chapter 3. Oh.
Another free experience. Getting you up to 3 significantly early.
I am way ahead on XP, which is really nice.
Yeah. I think you got 4 extra experience that you had flexibly. I think you had all of the flexible experience in Chapter 1.
Yeah.
That said, let's keep the good experience rolling. We might have a situation where you might do better than the average. Anyway, welcome to the doctor. Good to see you. All right, nice knowing you, doctor. Thanks for the chat. Here he's able to get as many med kits as possible. Item. Oh,
Duck is fucking killing me.
That is MGSR's Apache Smash in the game. It's the only time it's the only moment in a speedrun where we'd actually get to hear him.
There are 10 different cameos throughout the game where creators could be selected. We have a DLC because I'm a big advocate for Twitch. So we were able to get almost 100 creators to contribute voice packs that people could select if they'd like to. They saw. Anyway, going on. This room is one of the hardest rooms for RNG in the game. If he wants to try and Opoly get experience, it depends on where they are. As you can see, they weren't, so he just did it, and he needs to get bullets for the upcoming boss.
Yeah, luckily I'm well ahead on XP, so I don't mind that I didn't get any XP from those guards.
And that creates a situation to consider how flexible RNG provides interesting flexible routing instead of an overcoming situation. Very rarely RNG plays into extending the run. It just changes the run. I mean, there are cases, but unlike other games where it's like, oh, RNG, we lost a minute, you know. Now, going up to the the next floor, there is actually just a lot of optimal movement and such like that. Now, note that he opened the door there. And if I'm correct, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, that door will stay open unless you load a save. So your goal is not to load between.
As long as I don't die or load a save, so you know where I'm loading saves to stop bleeding. As long as that doesn't happen, that door will stay open. Ooh, nice.
Got it. So when we get there, we get to say, "Yay, saved 1 second" if the door is still open. All right, welcome to Mechadrone. A significantly different boss on easy versus hard. It deals with hit points. In this case, all he's got to do is make sure he doesn't get crushed, which is an instant kill. Random note after this is he's going to be preparing to grab some items and go up to the 3rd floor and do a sequence that will be pretty straightforward. Farewell, Mechadrone. And it is going to involve getting a thermal suit, seeing what he can to move and turn the suit on and off so he can avoid hitting any alarms, and collecting batteries to get to a sequence. On the way, there will be a bad choice. But before we go on, I just want to say he's a master of alchemy, and he's grabbing some chloro, he's grabbing some form, and he's making some chloroform.
Now have chloroform.
There you go. The guys, just don't skip high school. That's how easy it is. Guys, and
Chemistry 101. Chloro.
I know, right?
Chloroform.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's okay. I like
it.
it when they combine the water and sodium, but I'm just sadistic. Note, we haven't died. We haven't done any loads yet, so odds are we might get that second save.
The other important part about this section is we cannot use any health. Well, we can. You're allowed to use health kits, but we save time if we don't. The doctor that we saw a moment ago, where we heard Apache's voice, we're going to go back there, and then we skip a cutscene as long as we still have maximum number of health kits. So that's a really important section to make sure that we're getting through optimally. You know, not having to load, not taking hits. And we are about to come up towards the next and probably the best bad choice.
As a note, you'll notice that when he turns on the suit, there's a little red glows along the ground, showing you the range at which the thermal sensors detect. So that's one of those little bits of feedback that we got from multiple people, including the speedrunning community, to help them do more optimal runs and make more pixel decisions. Going in here, we have the next bad choice. Normally you get to choose through 3 different choices. The preferred ones would be detector or guard, but there's one that says SHP. What's that choice?
HP. Oh, sheep!
Bah. This is the moment I love chat, because normally they just start spamming bah all throughout. As a note, sheep is by far the worst option for a speed run, only because of the absolute amount of time that it takes to move through here. It adds a significant amount of time just to walk through one screen.
Now, casually, if you don't know one of the neat tricks with the chloroform that we picked up, we would have to go back through that room, making this take even longer. Luckily, we don't have to go back through the room. Oh, unless I missed a battery. I only have 10.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I only have 10 batteries. No, I have to go back to the sheep.
Bah! Not only this time, but again. I would like to say, before we give time to our host, thank you very much for your donations for bad choices. In fact, I would even say bad choices.
Oh.
And you have this screen and these sheep to have a moment, friend. Go ahead with a donation.
Awesome. So we've got an amazing 25 euros donation from Flutz saying, okay, then we just do make it 800 within this run. And indeed, we did get to 800 euros.
Hey.
So, little clap to everyone, and clap also for allowing this extra time with the sheep.
So, storyline. Normally, you would have to walk back through all that area and the sheep. But we coded a secret cutscene with the chloroform, and what that means is you can use it to teleport to the bottom of the elevators. We didn't think that through, honestly. So they've been taking advantage of it. We haven't coded it out on purpose because I think it's wonderful. And now he's going back to save the doctor who he has befriended in some form. Well, no, he just gets to hear her yell back and be a strong individual as she should be. And now he hides again as Sergeant Marcuson goes into the next area. Goes in here, and this is where those med kits are relevant. If he doesn't have full med kits, a full cutscene happens where she fills them up. That's skipped now. And here we are, Lieutenant Marcuson, and we have the gun, and this is the first time we've seen it used against individuals. A mechanic is Jesse is not an assassin, so he has to use his med kits to heal anyone he has promised not to kill. So that's why you will see him punching or using slingshots instead of the gun the majority of the game, to avoid having to bring anyone back up with medkits. Other than that, there was a laser mechanic, but he's so fast he just walks past it once. So he just has to fly. You're having great luck.
Yeah, it's nice having Marcuson die close to the door there so that we can get out quickly. But having him die on top of the other 2 soldiers is not ideal.
So now he has to take the card from Marcuson, bring his retina to the door to trigger an exit. And that is the end of the stage. You may notice there's times here, and that was 8 minutes and 39 seconds over the IL of 5 minutes and 56 seconds. So thank you, sheep. The speedrun, by the way, we did implement. This level is pretty fast, so we're going to commentate on it quite quickly. But what matters is what happened before the stream even started, which was he was going and repeatedly going through, and that was a bad choice, and you managed to get past. I'll explain that in a second, but beforehand he had to basically reset the game to get a minefield setup where he would appreciate. The minefield sticks for the entire time until the game's reset. So those screens and the next one, he is going to be walking through a specific path customized for this playthrough to avoid every minefield, which is an instant death. Now we have a jungle maze, which is allowing him to go around and hitting a trigger twice after two different little walks, and then a memorized path through the jungle beyond because he wants to skip the compass, which you usually look at every screen to find the right direction. If you go the wrong direction, you teleport back to the beginning of the maze. So he has just skipped over half the level in the last 20 to 30 seconds.
That minefield skip is significant. There's a whole underground base little section. There is a boss that we skip, which is a shame because it's one of the best bosses in the game. Its name is Turret Storm, and you're just running around a room shooting a bunch of turrets. It's a really cool boss, but yeah, on any percent, completely skip it thanks to the minefield skip. Right, so I'm going to concentrate on my jungle route.
No problem. Two things though. You'll notice between every one of the missions, we have developed with the feedback of the speedrunners as optimal a speedrun counter as can be used, so that anytime a load exists, it pauses the timer. In between actual chapters, if you're just looking at that time, you can just relax or take a break. It does not contribute to the time, so that at the end of the game, you can look at your ILs and complete time without any stress. Now, here is another stamina that you're going to get in order to help save that skip.
Behind the fence.
No, you didn't. And that is chapter 4. You have time for a quick donation after this entire section. This is the quickest mission in the game. But I just realized which chapter this was. He is going to go up here. He is going to get the attention of that guard. No, not at all.
Not that guard. No,
that is.
Oh, that was bad RNG. This guard.
Yep, but
there we go.
This guard, he wants the attention, but he wants to move past him before he actually triggers the alert. So he's in caution state. What this means is that no one's spawning along the sides. Only the ones catching an attention to him is going to chase him. But most importantly, this means that the doors are not closed. He's moving a ridiculously thin path in order to get past visions of certain guards and such. And the ultimate goal is to go into a door on this screen without it being locked. Now that he has done that, he is going to get a new item, the grenade, and he's going to get one of the essential items in the game, the bulletproof vest, which is an actual secret. This bulletproof vest gives a 50% chance to have a bullet deflected on hit. As you may have noticed, rolls give immunity frames, so he's been using that primarily. But now, vest RNG is a thing. And what better way to do it than to get hit by a machine gun? Alright, that was good to see you, Machine Gun Mike. If he wanted, he could have tried to race Machine Gun Mike off the screen. He doesn't get the experience, but he saves this cutscene. So it's not optimal to do that for the route, and it also risks a soft lock.
Indeed,
his next talent means that he's going to be able to roll twice as fast. The cooldown between is reduced, and that's going to increase any screen. That sprint is not the case. This is a almost choreographed fight because of the nature of how you have to hit the behind side with rockets. So he's going to walk behind specific vehicles at specific times to trigger the shot rotation. He also is using his grenades to break some boxes early, allowing him to have rockets faster than he should. And I believe that cuts out 2 shot rotations. So because he was able to get those grenades, he's able to break open more crates. He's going to use this one, and then he's going to finish off the fight. And he takes the last... Oh.
It also means we finish the fight with 1 rocket and 1 grenade, which is really helpful in setting up a couple of chapters in the future.
There we go. So, the quickest one, that was 2 minutes and 35. IL is 1:59. Engineering problems. This one's pretty quick to explain. There's not just some precision. The first part involves him fighting new opponents called Leonard's engineers that that are running saws that he needs to get past by destroying their computers with grenades and then doing their best to save them with medkits. Afterwards, he will be going down in a nice yellow submarine where he'll have to use precision. It's kind of like water ice mechanics is the best way to describe the drift. And every single one of these grenades are accounted for. One miss means he has to restart or work with backup plans. So that'll be optimal. Other than that, there will be a boss at the end, which is basically sushi. And that is the majority of this level. And the reason I'm giving you this blurb is so you can watch it and we can give our lovely host some time.
All right, thank you so much.
And I will give you updates when we're close to the boss. Go ahead.
All right, no problem at all. Thank you very much. I just would like to remind everyone that we still have quite a few incentives left during the marathon. One of them will actually be this evening. It is for Dark Souls 3. It is in particular a bid war for the file name. Right now, we've got two options, which are ESA Plum at €9 and Elden Ringo at €5. And as you may maybe understand there, you can get your own choice into it as long as it is 16 characters maximum. So you still have time, but I would say if you want to start thinking of a name you want to have for this Dark Souls 3 run this evening, then you might want to donate for that because, custom names are always very fun. Alongside that, if you want to support this marathon in other ways than through your amazing donations, you can also consider using your free monthly Prime Gaming subscription right here on the ESA channel, which will give you access to all the ESA emotes, as well as several BSG emotes, which also helps in supporting both the ESA events as well as the BSG events, which I would say is rather important, especially considering there is also, for instance, BSG Annual 2022 happening this August, and as such, your subscriptions can also help support such events. So with that said, I just want to say thank you all for the support you've shown so far in this marathon, and let's keep it going. And remember, let's try to reach €1,000 in the next day. I'm sure we can do it.
That was really good timing. Here's Huge Eel.
That was. So, Huge Eel. He's going to want to get as dangerously close as possible so that he can shove wonderful rockets down Huge Eel's throat. That's really the majority of it. This is an incredibly precise timing, and it's almost a dance.
It is kind of like a dance.
Now, if I'm correct, was that your last stamina you have for the skip? Or do you do
no,
for an 8?
there's at least one in chapter 8.
Okay. By the way, random dev thought. By the way, congratulations on getting Gunslinger there. That had one of the funniest bugs in the game, where if you stuck around after you defeated the boss for about, if you stuck around after you defeated the boss for about 10 seconds, the roughed up body of Huge Eel would just float across the screen on the ceiling, and I just thought it was a reference to fish float to the top when they're done. No, it turned out to be a bug, and I found so many people getting really confused at what happened. Glad we fixed that eventually. By the way,
I'm not. It was hilarious. I loved it. It was my favorite bug in the game, and you got rid of it.
I'm sorry. Anyway, here we are. We're on the boondocks. You're basically trying your best to get, $50 million to, buy a boat that's going to blow up. Eventually, though, you're going to punch a rather nuclear surprise. And then we're going to go to one of the hardest bad choices in the game.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yep. Hey, here's $50 million. Hey, lightning just destroyed the boat. Oh, that's unfortunate. No escape for you, Jesse. Now,
I was going to say, it is worth noting that Jesse here is not trying to dismantle this evil regime or anything. He's just trying to escape. All the good stuff that he is doing is just a byproduct of him trying to leave and trying to run away from this whole thing. He's not a hero. He's pretty unepic, actually. See what I did there?
Anyway, yeah, I did see. Now, he pre-shot one of the rockets in order to hit the nuclear sub as he transitioned on the screen. And yeah, that's right. He's just going to take down a nuclear sub. He hears more about escape. One of the interesting mechanics on this fight is that every time that a missile hits the landscape, it will create an area that you want to avoid. So movement tech on this, and also the slight RNG on where the sub moves is interesting. At a certain point in the fight, the ground actually has hit points, and some of it can be broken off as well as a mechanic. So being able to time and place some of those in the right spots is also what takes into a little bit of skill.
Wasn't bad.
But there you go. Just took down a nuclear sub, no big deal. Now, going into the next requirement after he basically ignores some people on the comms, he had to get the gasoline, which he normally doesn't have to go too out of his way for. He's going to go up here, accidentally trigger. That trigger is not every time.
Yeah,
and he's going to go in there to make sure he doesn't trigger an alert to close the door. And normally you'd pick the Zodiac on the left, which is significantly faster. But because of bad life choices, he's got the floaty rocket-based hovercraft. Thank you again for your support of a great cause.
Did that hit? I didn't know. I got
the pre-shot did not work, but normally you can get an early hit on if you time that perfectly. He was about 2 frames off at most, maybe 1 frame off. And this is why you hate the hovercraft.
It moved so jankily. It uses rockets instead of a machine gun.
Yeah, like where the Zodiac feels like you're driving a Mustang vehicle, the hovercraft feels like you're using a walnut. It is not a comparison for the way it moves. Also, instead of using bullets, which are enhanced by one of the levels that you get to reduce the time on this, he is utilizing rockets, which do a set amount and can only have a large reload time. So this is a much more challenging bit. The advantage of it is all those rocks in the river you can float over as the hovercraft, where you would be destroyed as a boat. And I would like to say you're past the hardest part of the game, but you're not.
Oh, God, no. We are now into one of my favorite bits of the game, Chapter 8.
So, this game is based off of cycles. In this level in particular, your goal is to avoid being caught by the cameras. With the cameras being on a cycle, that means that if they're on a bad cycle of some form, then you have to wait for them, or else the mission is over. One of the things we added on easy is you're able to see their actual cone of vision, so that makes it a little easier. However, Nick just did a load at a specific spot, and that reset all the cycles to be optimal if he does nearly perfect movement.
There's a bit of leeway, but yeah, just by taking that load resets them all, and you'll see that I get through this whole section really neatly. So these cameras all move in the right place. When I go onto the next screen, the camera will immediately be moving over to the right here. I go into this room, I grab a couple of costumes, because we've got some cameras we've got to trick in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, that camera's now moved across.
So, in the original way that this was routed before, it was found that you could do the reload, which I believe was found by Nick. Was it you?
Yep.
Is that there was a significant amount of go to a crate and wait and such like that. By the way, does that reload there reset the timers?
Does a little bit, yeah.
Because that was not intended for you to be caught.
It was not.
The idea is the camera has to see someone, so he's going to knock people out with the chloroform rag that he created and replace them with what he calls Mike clones, because apparently every guard on this base is named Mike. And now we introduce a new weapon that creates a dynamic in the game in multiple places, the electromagnetic grenade in the next room. There is a spot where you're not able to proceed because of an immobile camera, and this electromagnetic grenade allows you to stun them for a set amount of time, increased based on difficulty. So he's going to use one there to speed up the situation because he doesn't want to wait. Gets him out here. However, I'm going to be interested to see if there's any rotation changes later on based on that little bit of a reload that he had.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately that reload happened because the guards just turned to look at you, and unfortunately it's one of the really cool and difficult things about this game, because that guard turning to look at me was complete RNG. I just completely broke the cycle that I usually do, and hopefully I get some good timing here.
All right, because of the fact that this was a no-guard mission, one of the challenges to make it, while we're watching and seeing if RNG is in your favor, was Fran needed to make a boss that felt like it was in combat. So this is a very particular and interesting puzzle that may involve a lot of exploration of setting up a way to confuse the guard to let you in as a pizza delivery driver to an obscure base in the jungle at a random point. That's okay. You knock him out and then proceed with Chapter 9, which is a beast of a mission. Bad choice. He gets to choose what type of guards he has here. He's choosing exterminators because his preference is Scandinavian. This is ironically controversial because a lot of other speedrunners of the game actually choose exterminators because of the nature of how every time you defeat them with a rocket, they give you more ammo. Getting down here, he's getting Blood Bag, which is necessary for the skip that we've been preparing all game for, what we call the Red Room skip, even though we're really skipping the item that uses in the Red Room. We're not skipping the Red Room.
That's why I don't like exterminator guards. Scandinavians do not shoot anywhere near as quickly.
Yeah, they pretty much shoot once in the standard guard style, right?
Yeah. I do, yeah. I don't understand why the rest of the community all thinks that exterminator guards are better, because they're not.
Well, I mean, in their defense, they actually blow them up.
I'm good.
Now, here's a quick save right there, allowing you to reload and refresh. And here's one of the largest cutscenes in the game. Summarize, skip, done. Sorry. Now, normally you would have to go left, go through about 10 screens to 12 screens of going back and forth to get a radioactive item. Instead, you're going to use a porta potty here to save right outside, and he's going to take damage the entire way. Normally, you can't use medkits in here because of the bleeding mechanic, or every time you take damage, the medkit is canceled. However, the blood bag allows you to do a full refresh, and by the way, I said that wrong. The healing regenerates, so it cancels the regeneration. But because it's an instant refresh, the blood bag allows this to happen.
That is the biggest skip. Actually, I think minefield skip is probably bigger, but that is a very significant skip.
So, other than that, we're going to be going through some offices, checking out some things, and getting a key card, which will allow us to get to the 3rd floor. So, we have time for one donation before the elevator, I would say.
All right. Thank you very much. Just want to say that another way you can definitely support BSG is by subscribing to the BSG YouTube channel, which will contain all the VODs from both, previous marathons and these marathons that will be uploaded in the future, as well as other unique content. So if you enjoy BSG, then definitely be sure to subscribe to it and have all that BSG content for you.
All right, you have time for another. If you have any other comments or shout-outs you'd like to make. But a quick one, though.
All right. well, if it has been really quick, just want to say once again, thank you for helping us reach 800 euros for Mind, which is once again an absolutely amazing cause. They've been doing great work, especially as a shout out to them regarding mental health support for people who've been anxious about the recent Russian invasion. And as such, founding this organization is a great help. So thank you all again.
The only thing happening on the roof is getting some wires and some components and such so that it can bypass an anti-air missile. Nothing much for an escaping civilian. So that's why it was important to say, give you some opportune time. There's a lot going on here in this quick run. Anyway, this is all in preparation for the next level, which involves, by Nick's opinion, the hardest room in the game. I shouldn't talk to Nick. This is one of the only things he doesn't. He sometimes slips up on the choices. So we can't do a bad choice incentive on this. It kind of blows up the base, or at least blows up Jesse.
Yeah, it should be noted, we are now done with bad choices. The Exterminator Guards was the very last bad choice. So a big thank you to everyone who donated for that incentive. I think you'll all agree that it was worth it to see lots and lots of sheep over and over again.
After looking at the helicopter that we'd eventually take off in and eventually be shot down, which would lead to his interrogation of retelling this entire escape, we're going down to the third floor, where a specific set of mercenaries have created a lot of stress for them, specifically because of the nature of their mechanics, involve them taking only one punch to take out, but their range of vision is now a full 180 degrees instead of 90 degrees, and their response time is faster. So, there we go. That upgrade, by the way, is going to be the last one that he depends on. It increases bullet damage, which allows a quick kill to exist on the boss that he's approaching, which is a samurai.
Thank God. Oh, I got good RNG.
And if the RNG was poor in that room, he could have been stuck there for quite a few deaths.
And that's TT.
Yeah, that's it. You just simply deal damage and do it in a timing that does not allow him to deflect the damage, which is a big mechanic of that boss, but they found a rhythm to get past it. Here's a map. It's going to be going to the first floor to get night vision goggles and going through the labyrinth, which you decided that is not the last bad choice.
Oh, I forgot about the labyrinth. Actually, yeah, we will have one more bad choice.
Okay, there's a secret in there, and yeah, that secret has a pretty interesting joke in it. But after the labyrinth, we'll be approaching the final chapter and wrapping up the game after the final boss with the Bond-esque villain. Here's your favorite exterminators that you have a bad choice on.
They just don't stop shooting.
All right. Are there any comments you want to make about the run so far, Nick? Because, I mean, dodging these bullets is not stressful at all. By the way, the vest RNG'd there and triggered twice, deflecting 2 bullets.
Yeah, every time you hear just like a thud, and I don't take any damage. Oh, not like that, though.
Not like that.
Welcome. I wish to enter the labyrinth.
Then say friend in Elvish, and the door will open.
Friend.
You know, I know that I voiced this character. You can skip this if you want, Nick.
that is Jack's character in the game. Okay.
All right. Bad life choice left, which is normally not part of the route.
Okay, I'll take this. Yay, I got a sword. Oh. Okay.
There you go. Final last choice. That said, a lot of the dialogue he's skipping. By the way, this normally you have to follow the labyrinth map and be able to have to go through this area through the intersections. We had some difficulty from players talking about how challenging it was to follow the map, which is simply north, south, east, west. So on medium difficulty, we added these squares at the intersections. On easy difficulty, we added the arrows, and that significantly reduced the concerns. If you go a wrong path, you fall, you die. So that's just an example of how we had to do difficulty differentiation through the development of this game. And sometimes it's not about changing hit point value or anything like that. It's simply adding visual cues on the map and level design. That said, eventually he's going to get to a wall that smells like wall chicken, and that's going to be how he ends this chapter. I want to personally say, before we go into the final chapter and part of the game, because it should be Nick's comments at the end, thank you to everybody who has provided to such a great cause. And the world has an opportunity to be a better place because of the contributions of wonderful people who are watching this, who are supporting this, sharing this, or even supporting the cause monetarily. So a massive shout out to every one of you here, and giving a round of applause to yourself, even if you're watching this on a VOD. Totally fine.
Yeah. All right. Zip, this is the final chapter of the game. We are... All of the stamina that I have been building up throughout the entire game is for a section here. I mean, it's been helpful throughout the game anyway, because we've had more hit points. But this final section, which we call the Death March, is really gonna utilize it. Before we do that, though, we have to set up a trap, because we know something's going to happen shortly. And you'll notice that I'm picking up C1s. Another lovely little joke in this game. Is that combine 4 C1s, and of course you create C4. That's how explosives work, right? There we go, C4 with a timed detonator. So we put that on here.
I mean, since you talked about the jokes, it's interesting to note that you are skipping over 4,000 lines of voice-acted dialogue to speed this game up.
Should say, even if you have no intention of speedrunning this, you should definitely play it just casually. Oh, I got lucky there because I actually set that up really badly. This is the Death March, so I am just trying to not get shot. I'm gonna die. Yep.
You are out. So the first room has a very particular movement of moving a few steps, shifting to a different line, moving a few steps, shifting to another line. Shout out to Plywood for that one. And after at least reliably here and praying to Vest RNG, the second room is where you get to take whatever you were able to save and move on. He did delay at the edge there to allow them to move to the second screen to give them a little extra space and time. He's going to accidentally drop the kernel, not intentionally, and he's going to do his best to dodge. And he's able to load and refresh. This room has an optimal amount of boxes to get where you don't have to blow them up unless you need them. He's going to take extra boxes just because of marathon safety, but for each box you can save an amount of time by not breaking them, so there's a lot of opportunity to save here. But yeah, this is the intent is let's fill up your equipment. Wow. Don't worry about that. It's just a little book that Fran created to show little glimpses of how the game was as it was being developed and created, showing little ideas and bad ideas and where the origin of the game came from. This was a suggestion on Twitter. Some random person said this would be a cool idea, and Fran's like, that is a great idea, and it existed 4 days later. So, just a little shout out to the community that Fran loves, and they love him.
This is the final boss, General X.
And interestingly enough, the most important thing about the final boss he has already done, which was taking the knocked out ally and being sure that he is over by the door, specifically. Spoiler alert, this game has multiple endings, and the canon or best ending has to have 3 or 4 things in effect. One of which is you need to have a single bullet in the chamber and not needed to be reloaded. The general has to be up there, or the colonel has to be up there by the door and nowhere else on the map. And there's mostly you have to make sure that you're able to use electromagnetic grenades to try and get a one cycle on the boss.
Should note, time is coming up as soon as it says stage complete, which is in 3, 2, 1, and time.
GG's.
That is Unmetal 50-36, which is quite significantly over my world record. But with a bad choice run, it's not. It's understandable. There is a quick epilogue where we just punch out Colonel Harris, and we get the credits. I'll let the credits roll whilst we sort of finish out here.
I just want to say shout out to all the speedrunners who help contribute to the feedback and necessary points to allow us to create a game that's as speedrunnable as it can be. There have been a lot of significant improvements that you can see in the options menu. I also want to do a shout out to Fran, who is the developer of this game and many other games. He is a passionately human individual, and a lot of his contributions to not only gaming in his own unique style, but the world is significant. And a shout out to you, Nick, for caring about this wonderful game that we have created, and to all the donations. Nick, your turn.
I absolutely love this game. It's so much fun. As I say, even if you have no intention of speedrunning it, pick it up and just play it through casually. It is hilarious. It is a complete homage to Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. It's hilarious and it's really fun, and I'd recommend everyone give it a go. And the MGSR community has to give a huge thank you to Jack and to Fran and to everyone on Epic for creating it and putting so much love into it and helping it be the speed game that it can be. So huge thank you to them. Huge thank you to everyone at home. I've been NickRPGreen. I hope you've enjoyed watching Unmetal.
All right, thank you so much for those final shout-outs. Just before we move on to our next run, we got 2 final donations, which I will read out to you just right here. First off, we got a €5 donation from Benelux saying, Unmetal is a really fun and great game. Love the run, Nick. And then we got a €55 anonymous donation with a comment saying, great cause, great gameplay, great narration. Thank you all. And indeed, thank you for all your donations, everyone. It means we're at €860 for Mind. So thank you all for everything. With that said, it's time for us to head into intermission, as we'll soon be going into Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, with the BPG 13 for any percent. So thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Oh, and last thing, this is also the end for me of my shift as a host, and afterwards you'll be taken care of by the one and only Killer Chair. Thank you all, and bye!
Bye!